Get a Russian spy poisoning. John Glenn said once the shock is over there will be anger over what happened. The military were deployed on the Wiltshire city's streets to assist with the decontamination operation. MP John Glenn said he suspected the shock of what had happened would give way to genuine anger at the audacity of what has taken place within our city. The MP said he had heard from residents demanding decisive action be taken over the attempted assassination of Sergei Skripal and his daughter Yulia nearly a week ago. The Economic Secretary to the Treasury said in a Facebook post, "The government will not be acting precipitously in response to what has happened. Now is the time for cool heads and a rational examination of the facts. Once these are established, then, and only then, will an appropriate and proportionate course of action be taken. A whole range of tools are at our disposal depending on who has perpetrated this act, including a number of financial and economic levers." Home Secretary Amber Rudd will chair a meeting of the government's Cobra Committee at 3 p.m. today to receive updates on the police case. Mr. Skripal and his daughter are still fighting for their lives after being exposed to a toxic substance last Sunday. Detective Sergeant Nick Bailey, who was part of the initial response by authorities, is also in a serious condition. Russia has denied any involvement in the poisoning and has accused the UK of propaganda. Get a Russian spy poisoning. Home Secretary Amber Rudd will chair a meeting of the government's Cobra Committee. Speaking at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov seemed to mock the UK and dismissed claims that Russia was behind the nerve agent attack as propaganda. He said, "What we see is only news reports saying that if it is Russia, then a response is going to be given that Russia is going to remember forever. That is not serious. This is propaganda, fair and square, and it is trying to raise tensions. If someone wants us to engage in an investigation, be that on the poisoning of the UK, subject to the rumors about alleged interference in the electoral campaign of the US, if you really need our assistance, then we will be willing to contemplate this possibility if we have the necessary data and facts." Get a Russian spy poisoning. Russia has denied any involvement in the poisoning, but in order to have a serious conversation, you have to use the official channels. He also suggested that Russia is open to taking part in an investigation into alleged interference in last year's U.S. election, but only if the West is willing to share sensitive data. Theresa May said on Thursday that the government will respond appropriately if evidence shows Moscow was behind the attack on Skripal. When asked if the UK could expel the Russian ambassador, Mrs. May said, "We will do what is appropriate. We will do what is right if it is proved to be the case that this is state-sponsored." The news comes as a former MI5 official speculated that Russia might have been framed over the poisoning of the spy. Annie Machon, a former MI5 officer, has spoken about accusations Vladimir Putin's government was directly involved after former Russian spy Sergei Skripal was poisoned on UK soil.